Hello students, welcome to the biology online class Cell Fundamental Unit of Life Part 1. Today we are going to learn about cell and why it is called fundamental unit of life. Under this lesson we are going to learn about what are meant by prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells and what are the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. And next, what are the cellular organization in the multicellular organisms. Along with that, we are going to discuss about cell membrane and cell wall. What is the structure of this cell membrane and cell wall and what is the function also we are going to discuss. Along with all these, cell organelles such as chloroplast, mitochondria, vacuoles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, and also about chromosomes and what is the basic structure of all these cell organelles and what about the function of these cell organelles we are going to discuss in this lesson. First of all, we have to know about what is meant by cell and who discovered this cell and what is the history behind the cell we have to know. Already you have learnt in your lower sections an English scientist, Robert Hooke, discovered the cells in the year 1665. He saw the cells in a thin slice of cork. Cork means it is a part of bark of a tree with his primitive microscope. While he was observing this thin slice of cork under his microscope, he observed as honeycomb-like structure so many little chambers which are in hexagonal shape. And he named them as cells. Cells are also called cellulae. Cell is a Latin word. What is the meaning of this Latin word means? A little room. Cell means a little room. His discovery indicated for the first time that living organisms consists of number of small structures or units which are named as cells. And till this day in the biology, we use the word cell to describe that small units which are present in the living organisms. After Robert Hooke, so many other scientists also worked on the cell and its structure. Among them, in 1674, Antoine Leeuwenhoek, another scientist who discovered the free living cells in the pond water for the first time. Who discovered free living organisms in the pond for the first time? Antoine Leeuwenhoek in the year 1674. And after that, in 1831, another scientist, Robert Brown, discovered nucleus in the cell, which is a round body structure present in the center of the cell. After that, in the year 1838 and 1839, two scientists, two biologists, M.J. Schleiden and Schwann, formulated cell theory. The cell theory states that all living organisms made up of cells and the cell is the basic fundamental unit of the life. After that, in the year 1855, Rudolf Virchow stated that omnis cellula is cellula. That means every cell arises from the pre-existing cell. Whatever the organism, even it is multicellular, it starts its life with a single cell only. This single cell divides and redivides and form a multicellular organisms. That one is stated by Rudolf Virchow in the way all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Look at the pictures of this scientist. He was Robert Hooke, who discovered cell, and he is Antoine Leeuwenhoek, who discovered free living cells in the pond water for the first time, and he is Robert Brown, who discovered nucleus in the cell. And these two biologists, M.J. Scleeden and Schwann, together worked about cell theory, which represents cell is the basic unit of life. And he is Rudolf Virchow, who told that all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. What are the instruments are used to study the cells? Cells are too small to be seen by our naked eye. Without the help of special instruments, we are not able to see the cells. Cells are studied with the help of microscopes. Microscopes are high-resolution instruments that are used for observing the fine details of very small objects. If you observe, there are two types of microscopes. First one, compound microscope. Look at the first picture here. This is compound microscope, what we are using in our biology lab. This is also called light microscope. The magnification range of this compound microscope is from 100 to 500 microns. What is meant by magnification range here? The lens of this microscope makes the object 100 to 1500 times larger than the actual size of the object. In the same way, if you see the second picture, this is called electron microscope. This is called electron microscope. The magnification range is somewhat larger than the compound microscope. It is about 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. These are the gadgets we are using to observe the cells which are present in the organisms. If you see the shape and size of the cells, do all cells are in same shape and same size? Absolutely no. The shape and the size of the cells may vary according to their specific functions. But all of these are ultimately determined by the specific function. Look at some of the human cells here and plant cells. The first cell is RBC, red blood cell, which is in circular shape. And the next picture, if you see, this is the muscle cell of human being, which is in spindle shape. And see this picture, it is the structure of nerve cell which looks like a tree. You all know the structure of nerve cell. And see this picture, which is in green color. This is the stomatal pore guarded by bean-shaped guard cells. In the same way, if you observe unicellular organisms like diatoms, bacteria, protozoans like paramecium, amoeba, all these present in different shapes and different size. You know, some of the cells can change their shapes. For example, you see amoeba. Amoeba does not contain any regular shape. It can change its shape. In the same way, if you see the human body, inside the human body, one type of cells can change their shape. What is that cell? It is WBC. White blood cells can change their shape in the human body. This is the only cell which can change their shape in the human body. Whatever the size, whatever the shape of the cell in all the living organisms, but all plants and animals have almost fixed shapes. You know what is the smallest cell in the world? According to the size wise, it is nothing but mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the parasitic bacterium which is also called PPLO. What is meant by PPLO? Pleuropneumonia-like organism. This mycoplasma looks like pleuropneumonia-like organism. It is one parasitic bacterium which lives inside the bladder of other organisms. Next, if you see what is the largest cell in the world, that is the egg cell of the ostrich. Egg cell of the ostrich. In the same way, if you see the longest cell in the world, that is nothing but nerve cell. Up to now I told you the size of the cell in microns. What is meant by micron? Micron is otherwise called micrometer. A micrometer or micron is the 1,000th part of the millimeter. 1,000th part of a millimeter is called micron. The size of the cell measured in the units of microns. Look at this slide. You can get an idea about the sizes of different organisms. See the first one, atoms, which are the smallest particles in the objects. These measures about 0.1 nanometers. Nanometers are smaller units than the micrometers. Here this is micrometer. Micrometer is the 1,000th part of the millimeter. When compared to the micron, nano is smaller than micrometer. It is smaller unit than the micrometer. Atoms are the nanometer in size. Or if you see some other small molecules like other nutrients, those are in the range of 0.5 nanometer to 1 nanometers. In the same way, if you see the fat cells, lipids are called fat cells. If you see the size of these lipid cells, those are in the range of 4 nanometers to 5 nanometers. These are also very small cells. In the same way, if you see the protein cell size, those are about 5 nanometers to 10 nanometers in range. And next, if you see this picture, this is T2 phase. You have seen this structure in your lower classes. It is called bacteriophage. It is one virus which attacks the bacterium to carry out its life processes and also to reproduce. It is bacteriophage. It is in the size 900 to 100, 9 to bacteriophage is in the range of 50 to 100 nanometers. Again, if you see the chloroplast present in the green parts of the plant. Chloroplast is the cell which is responsible for the green color of the aerial parts of the plant. It measures about 1 micrometer, 1 micron. In the same way, if you observe different types of bacteria like Cocci, Vibrio, Bacillus, those are in the range of 1 micron to 10 microns. In the same way, if you observe the plant cell and animal cells, these are somewhat bigger than all other cells. Those are in the range of 10 microns to 100 microns. And next, if you see this last picture, this is fish egg. It measures about 1 millimeter and more than. This is about different sizes of different cells. And next, let us know what are living organisms are made of. What are living organisms are made of? You have learnt already in your primary sections. Just as a building is made up of bricks, the body of all living organisms is made up of cells. Based on the number of cells, based on the cellular organization, all organisms are divided into two types. First type is unicellular organisms and the second one is multicellular organisms. First of all, we have to know what is meant by unicellular organisms. Uni, that means one. Cellular, one cell organisms are called unicellular organisms. The organisms that are made of single cells are called unicellular organisms. For example, if you see Chlamydomonas, which is a single cell algal and amoeba, paramecium like protozoans, and some types of fungi like yeast also comes under unicellular organisms category. Next, let us see about multicellular organisms. The organisms which are made up of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. In the name itself it is there. Multi means many. Many celled organisms are called multicellular organisms. Whatever the number of cell, even it is unicellular or multicellular, the cells in that organisms perform similar basic functions for their survival. Let us see the differences between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Already we have learned that unicellular organisms is made up of single cell. And this single cell has the capacity to perform all the life processes like obtaining food, that means nutrition, respiration, exchange of gases, excretion, sending out the waste materials from the body, and growth and reproduction, giving the young ones from the body. All these type of life processes are performed by this single cell only. And if you see, these cells cannot be divided into cells. They reproduce, but they cannot divide into more cells. This condition is called, this type of organisms are called acellular organisms. Acellular organisms. Unicellular organisms examples if you see, protozoans, some type of fungi, some type of bacteria, some type of algae comes under unicellular organisms. Now let us see these multicellular. These are made up of many number of cells. Cells have a similar structure, basic life activities. If you see in multicellular organisms, the body is made up of millions of cells. Is it right? Even though millions of cells are there, every cell has one particular function. In order to that, different shapes and different structures of cells, a group of cells form different tissues. Group of cells form tissues. And different tissues, a group of tissues form organs. And the organs, different organs which perform same function, they give rise to organ system. In turn to these organ systems, many organ systems grouped together and form one organism body. They perform one special function. Examples of these multicellular organisms, all plants, animals, some fungi. See the cell organization in multicellular organisms. Just now we have discussed cells, small units, group of cells form tissues, group of tissues which perform specific function form one organ, and like that which perform same function of a group of organs form one organ system. Like that so many organ systems grouped together and form one organism. If you see in one human being or in one animal, there are so many different types of organ systems are there. Digestive system is there, respiratory system is there, excretory system is there, muscular system is there, skeletal system is there. So many organ systems are there which perform different functions. This is about the cellular organization in multicellular organisms. Now let us know, why does the cell called basic unit of life? Up to now we have seen what is cell, what is the shape of cell, what is the structure of cell, what is the size of the cell we have seen. But why the cell is called basic unit of life? Because the cell performs all life functions like intake of food materials, excretion of waste materials, all other metabolisms like all biological processes, respiration takes place, irritability takes place. Like this, all functions are carried out by the cell only. How does this cell perform all these functions? If you observe a cell under a microscope, we would come across three important components in the cell. If you see inside the cell, there are many special components which are called cell organelles. These cell organelles share the work of the cell, which is called division of labor. Each cell organelle performs different functions, like it clears the waste material, that means it involves in the excretion, it involves in the protein synthesis, it involves in the lipid synthesis, the cells are also involved in the energy production. Every function is carried out by the cell organelles present in the cell. That's why only the cell is called the basic unit of the life. The sharing of the work by the cell organelles in the cell is called division of labor. Even in the human beings also, if you observe, some organs like stomach, it performs one specific function like digestion. If you see heart, it performs pumping the blood. If you see lungs, it performs the exchange of gases. That is the division of labor, sharing the work. Like that, in single cell also, so many cell organelles are present which carried out so many cell functions. Now let us know what is cell made up of. Cell is made up of three important parts. If you observe a cell under a microscope, we would come across three important components in every cell. What are those three important components? First one, plasma membrane. It is also called cell membrane, which surrounds the cell and creates one separate environment for the cell. And inside the cell, in the center of the cell, we can observe one round body structure which is called nucleus. It is for controlling the all other cell organelles. And third important component of the cell is cytoplasm, the jelly-like substance which presents in the cell is called cytoplasm. It contains all dissolved conditioned nutrients. It carries all metabolic activities. In the cytoplasm only so many cell organelles are present. Assume this picture as cell. See, this cell is surrounded by one outer membrane which is called cell membrane or plasma membrane, and in the center of the cell nucleus is present. The place between the nucleus and the plasma membrane is filled with some liquid-like substance, some jelly-like substance which is called cytoplasm. These are the three important components of the cell. A cell is now we can tell that a cell is a tiny mass of protoplasm. Protoplasm is nothing but cytoplasm which contains all cell organelles, and this one is surrounded by a membrane which is called plasma membrane, and the cell is capable of performing all the functions of life. I hope you have understood about the cell. Today we have learnt what is cell, what is the size and shape of the cell. Based on the number of cells, how many types of organisms are there we have seen. What are the living organisms made up of? What is the cell made up of? In the next video, we will learn more detail about what is the structural organization of a cell. Hari Om.